About Juan Castaneda, who was sentenced to life in prison when he was just 15 years old after a 2008 shooting spree.
He and two other teenagers killed two people and wounded a third, and Castaneda was in court today for the first of several hearings. It's into whether his life sentence should be shortened.
Brandon Scott was in the courtroom too, and Brandon joins us now again live. Brandon.
Mallory, John, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, Juan Castaneda was in court today because of research into the human brain. His attorney is arguing that Castaneda's sentence of life in prison, usually reserved for adults, should be reduced because he committed the crime as a teenager, and research shows that teenage brains aren't fully developed.
The frontal part of our brain, which helps what we call executive function or decision making, is one of the last parts of the brain to reach that final maturity.
As a child and adolescent psychiatrist, Dr. Jennifer McWilliams has studied how the brains of teenagers are different from those of adults. According to research from the American Psychological Association, the frontal lobe, which is vital in decision-making, often takes more than 20 years to fully develop.
It's everything from being able to stop and think before making a decision, how quickly and impulsively you make decisions, and then kids, teenagers tend to not be able to fully reason out the consequences of things.
When Juan Castaneda was just 15 years old, he went on an Omaha shooting spree with two other teenagers, killing two people and wounding a third. He received an automatic life sentence. But now, 7 years later, the science of brain development could shorten his time behind bars. The U.S. Supreme Court issued a ruling 2 years ago saying since teenage brains aren't developed like adults, teenage murderers should not automatically receive adult sentences. Now Castaneda needs to be resentenced, and the judge has to consider whether the teenage brain is wired to make bad decisions.
We always joke about kids being young, dumb, and bulletproof. They don't fully understand and appreciate what might happen.
Now, this research isn't all that new, and as we mentioned, the Supreme Court decision happened 2 years ago. So I asked attorneys in this case, what's taking so long when it comes to resentencing Castaneda? And I was told that the judge has to consider a lot of information, and Nebraska has 17 cases like this. So the wheels of justice are moving slowly. Reporting live with photographer M.H. Danker, I'm Brandon Scott, WOWT 6 News.